Internet! My name is Catherine Barsonistis, and you are watching The Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, a cooking show where I make recipes inspired by various tabletop role-playing games, and sometimes paint a mini, but, you know, it's the day before Thanksgiving. I think we're going to be already kind of busy with a bit of cooking already. So thank you once again for joining me. I understand that you all are probably exhausted from the week we've had, and I am no different from that. So today we're going to be making oh, hey Strike! 3 months in a row, always proud and happy to be here and get my cat fixed this week despite Thanksgiving. Well, that makes me very happy considering that we don't have a game tomorrow night, so it's good to see you. Yes, so tonight we're going to be making a side dish. I know that is not always common on The Gluttonous Geek, and a lot of that is because you don't really see side dishes featured all that much in various forms of media like movies, TV, books, games, and all that. It's usually some kind of entree, and it's usually some kind of animal protein based, but I love being able to kind of branch out and do some more side dishes rather than just entrees and desserts, because, I mean, come on. When you're planning out a big feast for friends, especially Thanksgiving, and obviously since the pandemic we're not really able to join each other, it's good to have some other options rather than filling your table with about 3 different entrees and stuffing yourself, especially if some of us only have one other person to celebrate this year with. So this particular recipe comes from Pathfinder's Taverns of the Inner Sea supplement book from the Aeylinth Vineyard. It's listed as roasted eggplant with balsamic vinegar and ginger, walnut, and pear filling. So the Aeylinth Vineyard, I'm just going to go ahead and read off a little bit from the supplement here, is located in Greengold, a major port city in the elven nation of Kionin. The vineyard is known for wines and other fruit-based liqueurs, and it's a single-story open wine bar that is cradled among the living boughs of a massive white birch tree. It is started out as a vineyard. It was turned into a restaurant and bar, especially catering towards elvish tastes. So I figured roast vegetables filled with sweet stuff and sweet and nutty stuff sounds like a great side dish, especially with Thanksgiving tomorrow. So since this is going to take a little bit of time because we're going to be roasting, we're going to be sauteing, and we're going to be reducing. So that's, pardon me, going to take a little time. And I am dehydrated, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with a drink this particular episode based off of some bitters I just got in the mail. I bought them. They didn't ask me to review this, even though I'm still going to review it. Bennett's Bitters. They're kind of a chemical sort of small batch bitters with different herbs and spices in them that are made by, you know, a witch. And being a kitchen witch myself, I thought, hey, it'd be kind of fun to try these out. And yeah, considering that my alcohol tolerance has gone down quite a bit. It also has a recipe for bitters water in this booklet. I got the trio. One's a scorpion bitters with, yes, there is an actual scorpion floating around in there, with habanero peppers, or is it scorpion peppers? Oh no, it's a Moruga scorpion chilies. There's a Wild Hunt here, which has Devil's Clubroot, Passion Flower, Chamomile, let's see what else. Oh, Icelandic Moss, and whatever the heck Life Everlasting is. That sounds interesting. And finally, we have Exorcism, which has, what's it called? Cuba Pepper, Yarrow, Meadowsweet. So let's see. Considering I'm starting to feel my rum, let's go for digestive. You know, Wild Hunt it is. We're going to, for that bitters water recipe, all you need is about 12 ounces of water. Mix in 2 teaspoons, once I find where the heck my teaspoons ran off to. They were just here. Ah, there they are. Just gonna pour 2 teaspoons of lemon juice in there. Add a little bit of acidity, which helps quench the thirst, and then a dropperful of Wild Hunt bitters. That'll do it. There we go. And give that a stir. All right, cheers. Oh, that is excellent. It tastes like I'm drinking the forest. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it works. Oh, goodness. If it gets me all prepared for a Thanksgiving feast tomorrow, then I'm all for it. All right, so let's get that recipe that I typed up in my email together. So, there are a few things that you're going to need to do first with your eggplants. And the thing is, eggplant has a tendency to taste rather bitter if you don't salt it first. Since we are roasting the majority of it, we're not going to have to worry so much about the portion that's going to be roasting in the oven. However, for our for the remaining eggplant that is going to go into our filling, since we are sauteing that, I want to get a little bit of that bitterness out. So you want 2 kind of small, medium-esque sort of eggplants, and yes, I am aware I'm using the eggplant emoji in the title of this video. So, giggity. I mean, this recipe should feed, I want to say, up to 8 people. That is, if you are, I mean, you could serve a whole eggplant side to a person, but if you don't feel like that, then you can also split the finished product in half and feed it up to 8 people, especially if you happen to have multiple courses to your meal, and that was not a good slice. Probably. That is not even at all. It's even enough. There we go. Okay, so we've sliced our eggplant here lengthwise. Now we just need to scoop out the centers with a spoon. You're going to want to leave an inch border from the side as we kind of, roughly about an inch, and from the bottom. We're just going to dig that and scoop. I mean, the flesh should be soft enough to kind of give way on its own. So I'm just gonna do some slices here to alleviate it a little bit. There we go. So there's one. Kind of like pulling styrofoam after cutting it. There's 2. little thinner towards the back, but that's fine. Okay. And last one. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be dicing this up anyway. But, you know, try to get it as intact as you possibly can. There we go. It's gonna look pretty when it's done, what can I say? Oh boy. Just gonna blow my nose real quick, one moment, while I mute. And to mute, not change the camera. Okay, so now we've got this flesh here. Yes, we're going to cook it and stuff it back into the sorry, I keep on it's eggplant. I keep on saying avocado though. We're going to put that back in there, but first we're just going to slice that into strips, and then we're going to dice it. We're going to dice it to get the pieces as dice-like as possible. I'm just going to grab a colander here. Right there. Throw that in. And my cat Moosey is having zoomies right now and meowing like crazy. It is adorable. Okay. And if you're worried about volume, don't be. It will cook down quite a bit when we saute it. Especially once we saute those pears in there. Strike says it always looks amazing when it's done. Yeah, because I played it that way. No, admittedly, plating does take time to figure out, but, you know, it doesn't matter if it tastes good. I mean, the thing is, yeah, as being a food blogger, where my photographs are the thing that grabs people, yeah, I have to make it look pretty, which requires a lot more garnish than I would normally do when serving it, I guess. But, well, not even garnish. A lot more staging. Like, I want to say about 10 minutes before I came down here, I was kind of slapping together the staging for this photo with a bit of, let's see, like I've got kind of a reed mat that I got from H Mart a while, like years ago. In fact, it used to be the backdrop for all of my photos, if you managed to catch it. It doesn't hurt that I haven't gotten anything but small amounts of cereal this morning. I had coffee and a really, really disappointing bowl of green tofu curry. And green curry with tofu. Not green tofu curry. Yeah, I love tofu. I love Thai green curry, but this was... They put a ton of chili pepper in it, and instead of more curry paste, and it was like they just kind of drenched it in sriracha. And don't get me wrong, I do like spicy stuff, but if I can't taste any of the other sort of stuffs in there, it's disappointing to me. Okay, so now that we've got all that eggplant in a colander, I'm just gonna set it over a mixing bowl and find where the heck my kosher salt walked off to. It's around here somewhere. Ah, here it is. Just gonna have to refill it. Where is my kosher salt? Kosher salt, kosher salt. Where is my kosher salt? Did it disappear on me? That would really suck if I have to run to the pantry. I might have to run to the pantry. Anyway. Hello, bananas, Rugood. It's going. It's the day before Thanksgiving. So, as I was saying earlier, just gonna salt down this diced eggplant here. And this will help release some of that excess moisture, which makes eggplant have that kind of bitter undertone. So, just gonna do that, and then I'm gonna let it sit over here, away from things. While waiting for that excess moisture to get out of there. Next up, since I'm gonna need the time for it, is making my Balsamic Reduction, provided that my cabinet will let me open it. Here we are. Okay. So yeah, sure, you could buy Balsamic Reduction, but one, it's more expensive, and two, why? I mean, if it's gonna be... yeah, sure, skip a step, but if you happen to be like I am, and most of the time buy giant bottles of balsamic vinegar from Costco, this is not one of those times. Then just make your own, honestly. It just takes an extra 20 to 30 minutes in the stovetop. And since we're going to need time to do that, I'm just going to get that started. So I need a cup of balsamic vinegar. Just going to pour that straight in. Switch cameras. Derp-a-dur. And bring that to a boil on my stovetop. Obviously not quite there yet, so while you're waiting, this is a very good time to start prepping your other ingredients. So, with that, just gonna look at my instructions that I typed up earlier. That's not them, that's them. Okay. Oh, right, I also need to preheat the oven to about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And that will also take some time. Okay. Herb. So... prepping ingredients. And see, we are on the prep cam right now. Just Awesome. So I'm going to need about a half a tablespoon of ground ginger, which is around here. That's a tablespoon. That is a half a tablespoon. Excellent. Throw that into a prep bowl for now. And a quarter cup. Was it a quarter cup or did I say a half cup? I think it was a quarter cup. Of fresh thyme. Yeah, quarter cup. So, here we are. Just gonna grab some, if it'll let me. Get it all over the place. Yeah. And just strip those stems right into the measuring cup. And as I said, I've got time. I've got time. That was bad. Telling my own dad jokes. This is wrong. It smells heavenly, I can say that. So I will admit my... Ooh, I think I hear some... Yep. Okay, so just about to get to sort of a simmering right now, so it's kind of at a gentle boil. Just want it a little bit more before I lower the heat down a little bit. So, just gonna wait till that point. Bubble, bubble, boil and bubble, and that's not the right words. I do know the words, but that would also require me to quote the Scottish play, and then say it's from the Scottish play, and then say what the Scottish play is, which is bad luck! So, okay, we are at a boil now, so I'm just going to lower it down to a medium-low. There we go. To simmer until it gets to about, I want to say about a quarter cup of reduction. I'm just going to set the timer for now for about 10 minutes. Ideally, it should take about 20 minutes, but just so I can make sure that it's reducing properly, it doesn't over-reduce, I'm just going to keep an eye on it for that 10-minute spot. So, back to our prep cam while I should have done this before the stream. I'm being all zen and crap while waiting for an oven to preheat and a balsamic vinegar-filled pan to reduce. But that's okay. What happens if it over-reduces? Well, it's kind of like candy at that point, and I don't have much to drizzle over my eggplant. It just gets incredible. It's more of like a stupidly thick glaze at that point, which is, it's fine. But, I mean, I want to drizzle, not spoonfuls, if that makes sense. So, yeah. And since I have a gas stove, I know it can be a little overzealous at some point, so... I also kind of have the disadvantage of having my stovetop behind me, so I can't really watch it unless I switch the camera. So can it be salvaged with more liquid, or does that lead to madness? It could. I just don't feel like it. I mean, I could possibly just add some more balsamic vinegar or just add water. But I don't wanna. You can't make me. God, I'm gonna make time go all over this board. And look at this, it's all over the place. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Oh, man. So yeah, this week has been, and still is, full of cooking. yesterday I managed to finish what I was making for my anniversary dinner, which was Sunday. I know, I know. No, I actually made this French style, well, provincial French beef stew inspired by Beauty and the Beast, with rose water and everything. And I made that Sunday evening. But I also drank probably the equivalent of a bottle and a half of wine. So I fell asleep for a while, and I tried the stew, and then the stew tried me. Yeah, Sunday evening / Monday morning was interesting. But no, I made the stew and then made a Gruyere cheese Yorkshire pudding with herbes de Provence to serve it in, and that is going to be up on the so who won, stew or chef? It depends on what night. I want to say Sunday night the stew won, and last night the chef won. The pictures turned out phenomenal, so I'm looking forward to releasing that. And let's see, today obviously I'm making stuff from Munchies and Minis. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, in which no, I'm not doing any blog posts for that. No. Technically I already did. We're gonna be having some kind of achiote glaze turkey. I found a recipe on Bon Appetit recently. It's kind of a Puerto Rican, like, it's a recipe that the chef's Puerto Rican mother put together. It looked interesting, so we're gonna be making that. And for, standard traditional Thanksgiving, we have crescent rolls and green bean casserole. Gonna be making kind of a herby mint and dill based salad. And God, what else do I have listed on here? Oh right, yeah, the stuffed eggplant. We're just gonna be reheating that. And I'm gonna make the recipe I've already released on the Patreon for otic spiced potatoes. I mean, it was super easy. It doesn't require the oven, just the stovetop, so I'm like, why the heck not? We really enjoyed it. I have some spice blend left over from the first time I made it. We're just gonna make another batch as a side dish. So yeah, there's that. And then, on Friday, I'm gonna be doing another episode of Munchies and Minis. That's right. That utilizes turkey leftovers. It's, I'm making it up inspired by essentially the Meztica section of Forgotten Realms campaign, i.e. Fantasy Mexico. For a Maztica, or Meztica, I don't know how to pronounce it, turkey tamales. Since I'm already preparing the turkey with achiote, I'm going to be just adding more to leftover turkey and then steaming it inside some masa harina and corn husks. And the great thing about that too is you can make a single batch and you don't have to eat them all right away. You can refrigerate them to steam later, to reheat later, or you can freeze them for a while. So yeah, it's the Thanksgiving dish that keeps giving well after Thanksgiving, which I am totally for. Because, don't get me wrong, I do love me a roast turkey, but, I mean, if American white people can just stop it with the turkey sandwiches, there's other options to do with your turkey. You can make pasta, you can make tacos. Just spare me from the endless turkey sandwiches. Because they're so dry. Oh my god, they're so dry. Speaking of which, this is Carter and I's first Thanksgiving where it's just the two of us. Which is a little weird, but kind of nice. I mean, for all we know, it's going to be the last Thanksgiving we have just the two of us. Because my brother-in-law and his wife are expecting their first child in, I want to say, about a week and a half. It's gonna be a little girl. I'm gonna be an aunt to a little niece, and we're gonna corrupt the heck out of her. So I'm excited. We're totally going to host her first game of D&D. And probably gonna spoil her rotten. So... But yeah, and you know, once you have kids coming into the equation of the extended family, then everyone's got to meet together for like the first couple of Thanksgivings and Christmases and all that. Spend time with the kid. So... And with that, dang it, if it's just us for Thanksgiving, I'm gonna have me an achiote paste slathered turkey. Dang it. I'm going Mexican, kind of, with my Thanksgiving dinner. Now, traditionally, I would also make mamaliga, which is like this Romanian dish. It's heart attack on wheels. I've kind of made it for the blog before. Like, if you take a look at my recipe for lamb caldovery, I made a kind of creamy mamaliga polenta with feta cheese and herbs. How are we doing on that? That's doing just fine. And yes, I am gonna need that extra. Yep, I'm gonna need that extra 10 minutes. It looks like. So I'm just gonna set. I've got 5 more seconds on the timer. Just gonna clear that. Check it again in about 5 minutes. And it's perfect timing because the oven is now preheated. But yeah, the way I make mamaliga for Thanksgiving is how both my grandmother and I make it, where we do the layers of polenta, then baked. Well, we make the polenta first, and then slice it up and layer it with sour cream and Swiss cheese. My version, I add bacon and do a mix of Greek yogurt and sour cream because it makes it slightly lighter and less like, I mean, it's going to be a heart attack on wheels either way. It's just at least this way you're not wanting to, you know, commit seppuku just to relieve your stomach of its contents. But don't get me wrong, it is delicious. But very heavy and very filling. So... honestly, I could probably make an entire Thanksgiving meal of just that, to be on. Which is also why we're not making it for our couple Thanksgiving this year. Because then that would be all we're able to eat. It's a dish best served for friends and family. And or family. Or, you know, friends that you've adopted as family. There we go. That's all the time I feel like stripping. So, it's gonna go right back in the fridge. Cool. Got our time. Man, that Balsamic Reduction is smelling lovely. So, Now to the next step of our side dish. You're going to need some parchment paper and a baking sheet, as well as some olive oil, which I think we have enough. I'm not entirely sure of that, though. Might need to refill it. Oh, right, baking sheet. That's not where the baking sheets live. This is where the baking sheets live. Just grab one. One that's large enough to fit all 4 of those suckers. And this should fit the bill. Yep, that it does. So, let's see, are we still on that camera? Yes, we are. Okay. So, just gonna line this with some parchment paper. Top that with our eggplants, halves. There we go. Get that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. Alright. That one's not going to be for our photos. Okay. So, tablespoon. That's a half tablespoon it'll do. Alright, so you're going to need roughly about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So six of these half tablespoons. And you're just going to drizzle that over there. It's 1 of 6. Two. 4 more to go. 3. Oof. 4. And 6. All right. And just gonna take a pastry brush real quick. Just brush that. Give that a quick seasoning of salt. And then it's going in the oven for about 35 minutes. So I'm just going to put that in there. Set a timer for about 30 minutes for me to check on it. Now I'm going to check on my balsamic vinaigrette. See how that's doing. Give that a quick stir. Ooh, that is looking lovely. But I just kind of want it, I want it a bit thicker. So, just going to let that continue to do its thing as I prep the other things. And yes, there are a few more things that we need to prepare. That would be our filling. So, let me just check on our eggplant real quick here. See how we're doing with that. Let's release some liquid. Just going to give that another toss. Let that continue to do its thing. So I'm now have 2 anjou pears. I highly recommend using Anjou or Bosc because they will hold their structure a lot better than Bartlett, especially when cooking it. So, got Anjou here, feel free to use Bosc. Both are very good. So whichever one's less expensive. So, I am just going to slice off the bottom there to give me a stable surface. And next, I'm just going to dice this up by first cutting some planks. About 1/2 inch thick. Toss the core. Don't need that because that's the core. Okay. Let's check on that reduction again, because I am curious. Ooh. Yeah, that's thickening up nicely. Look at that. Did I actually set a timer for 5? Ooh. I'm not sure if I did. Wait, I think that's been about... Stir that down to see where it's at. I think we can go a little bit longer than that, so let's set a timer for 5. Final 5. Just gonna lower the heat just a little bit so it doesn't overboil on me. Okay. Well, switch back here. And like I've said before, cutting knife work is mostly a lot of creating stable surfaces, so it's easier to cut things and you're less likely to chop your fingers off. So that's why we were doing the plank method. Sure, it doesn't look impressive, but it gets the job done with as little injury as possible. Here's one diced pear. Let's go ahead and take care of the other. It's like, yeah, I need those fingers to roll dice. Yes. Very much so. Agreed. So, once again, slicing off the bottom to create a stable surface. Slicing it lengthwise. Then 1/2 inch planks. And it doesn't have to be absolutely precise, it just has to be around the same, close to the same size as possible, so that they cook for the most part evenly. I'm gonna check that reduction, see how we're doing. Well, that is looking pretty. Nice. Okay. But yeah, it took me, oh gosh, I would have actually gotten home from work earlier today if I wasn't just spending hours basically hitting Control F through all of my Pathfinder source books, PDFs, trying to find stuff that I could make without having to buy too many more ingredients, as in using, for the most part, stuff I already have. And yeah, it got to a point where I'm like, I can't make another entree. We've already purchased way too much food for this Thanksgiving where it's just going to be the two of us. So yeah, I just went, screw it, I'll make up my own thing. But I think it'll work out. And the way I see it too is that I'm also being economic by making tamales on Friday. Because that way, whatever we don't eat, I can freeze, and that's like last minute meals. Pretty much any time. When I don't feel like cooking, I can just microwave them. I love it. So, oh yeah, 11 seconds to go. That is perfect. So, that is done. That is perfect. That is, oh, that's pretty. So, I'm just gonna turn the heat off. Add my lid to keep it warm, and just shift it to the other burner. So I can use the same burner to work on my other stuff, which is good, because I think the only other prep I need to do here is just chopping or crushing the walnuts, which you're gonna only need about a half a cup. Let me cut that. Some scissors. Here we go. Not your fabric cutting scissors, no. Especially if you live with a cosplayer, they will murder you. And they won't even wait till you fall asleep to do so. Okay. Oh god, when we were, at DeKalb Farmers Market, Beaufort Highway Farmers Market, earlier this week, I'd say last week, but they won't murder you with the good scissors, they'll use something else. Yes, that's true. No, they'll just take the scissors that you ruined and murder you with them. If anyone stares on horrified, they'll just look at you and go, they know what they did. They deserved it. Alright, so just gonna go the quick way to chop walnuts so it doesn't get all over the place. Stick it in a Ziploc bag. Find some kind of surface that's going to handle you hammering on it like a cork trivet. Put that in there. Find a mallet and just smash lightly. To desired size of crumbles. There you go. And my board has no crushed walnuts on it. Sweet. Okay. So here is when we come up to the next part of making our filling. Remember that eggplant I showed you earlier? It's time to squeeze the excess liquid out of it. Just get that out of there. Drain the liquid. Give that a rinse. Dry it off. And for now, we're just going to stick that on top of there. Because there's some other things I need to do. I mean, for example, you saw I just put my cast iron skillet on there. I'm going to need to preheat that on medium heat for about, let's say about 3 minutes. While I am waiting for it to preheat, I am going to grab some unsalted butter. You are going to need about 3 tablespoons total for the recipe. This next bit you're only going to need 2. So I'm just going to cut off the other tablespoon, grab that, and wait for my timer to go off. I still have some liquid in there. I'm just going to mute really quick because I need to blow my nose again. Hold on. We are back with sound. And we've got 1.5 minutes on that cast iron skillet. Whew, I just need to, I guess, review the instructions I typed up earlier. Do I have everything? Okay. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna do that instead. Good thing I checked that thing. Yes. Okay. I know there was a reason why we put it on medium first instead of medium low, and that is because we're going to toast our walnuts first. So. Oh, okay, well, good. I did actually have the thing. That looks hot enough. I'm just gonna turn off the timer there. And I'm just gonna pour those walnuts on there. So we're just gonna lightly toast those for about, I'm gonna set a timer for about 30 seconds. Get a good little bit of browning in there. Be all fancy and do that. Probably go a little bit longer. I'm just gonna go by smell. And yeah. Drain that bowl again. Ooh. More moisture in there than I thought. Okay, yeah, that is good and toasted. If I go any further, it will burn all of it, so I don't want that. Just gonna transfer those toasted walnuts to that mixing bowl I was showing you earlier. So, now, I just need to lower the heat to about medium-low, and add that 2 tablespoons of butter, unsalted butter, to melt. Smelling lovely, catching up all of that toasted almond in there. Not toasted almond, walnut. That's what I was using. And as you can see, I already have all the walnuts in there. So, when it finally melts, I am going to be adding the ginger and half the thyme. So, are we melted yet? That looks pretty darn melted to me. So, just going to give that a quick swirl around the pan some. Add my ginger. And this is going to bloom the spices so they get caught in the oil. About half the leaves in there. Give that a quick swirl. And next, and that should be about 30 seconds before that is nice and fragrant. So, now, I'm going to cause a lot of splattering, or try to cause as little as possible by then adding that eggplant I showed you earlier. Try to add it in sort of a single layer like so. And we're just going to kind of stir kick it for the next 5 minutes with a pinch of salt. There we go. And we're trying to cook it down as much as possible to get as much of that excess moisture out as we can. So really, you just want to cook this until it is brown and for the most part dry, actually. So, just going to let it do its thing. Meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and clear off some of the stuff that I have on my board that I don't need anymore. Like thyme stems. Actually ran out of room in my stock bags, so they're going into the trash this time instead of my stock bag, but that's okay. Another time. Let's see, we've got about 10 minutes left on the eggplant halves themselves, which is kind of perfect, come to think of it. See how we have some of that excess moisture in there? We kind of want to cook it until it's no longer really sticking to the pan. And I realize I forgot to measure out another very important thing to this recipe, and that is the honey. So, just to make it easier on myself, I'm going to spray the inside of this measuring cup with cooking spray, so it's easier for it to escape. And then, how much honey did I actually say is going to go in here? I think it was about a quarter cup, either a quarter cup or a half a cup. Quarter cup, good, because I'm starting to run low on honey, and I don't feel like going to the grocery store. again. So, just gonna pour that in there till we have 1/4 cup of honey. Okay. See how much that's cooking down for me? Okay. And got a little more than 1.5 minutes on that. Just gonna do a quick cleanup of my area. A bit more. I don't need this anymore. It can go in the sink. Let's see. Oh, I had balsamic vinegar. Didn't have to buy extra today. Oh well. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. What do I need to do next? Okay. Let's see here. Did that. Did that. Okay. Right. I should actually put that pear in something. I should have used the colander. We'll just use this instead. All right. Okay. Okay, now that my timer's gone up, now it's time to add the pear. Toss out the core piece that managed to get in there somehow. I'm just going to set a timer for another 3 minutes and add another pinch of salt. Okay. I'm actually going to change my recipe just a little slightly. I think. Help if I actually hit start on the timer for one. Oh goodness. Let's see, how are we doing with the things and the other things? Whew. And it looks like we got about 3 minutes left on our eggplant. Oh boy. Okay. Now I'm just going to add the butter and our honey. Stir that in. Once that is all melted together with another pinch of salt. Well, I'm just going to add kind of a splash of water, no more than about a 1/4 cup. Let that cook down just a wee bit more, but also to help to glaze our skillet some. And admittedly, this will also give us a little bit more time. I'm just going to let that continue to cook while I remove our eggplant from the oven, which is nice and beautifully roasted. So, just get that ready to show off. Grab a... Oof. That had quite a bit of liquid in it. And that's okay. Just gonna let that cool some. Drain some of that liquid out. Okay. And once all of that liquid in the pan has cooked off, which we are pretty much there at this point, I want to say, I am just going to switch my viewpoint over to here. Like so, to our bowl of, what's it called? Toasted walnuts. Just gonna pour the contents of the skillet directly into that bowl. And clean off my skillet. Okay, so we have our filling right there. Just gonna toss all of that together with my spoon. Like so. We're just gonna let that all cool for a minute. Well, I figure out what's good for photos. I think this is probably the best one for photos here. So, I'm gonna dry up some of that excess liquid. And then distribute the filling among the eggplant halves. Okay. Finally, I was thinking, should try that filling myself. It's actually really good. I'm thinking I need one more thing. Oh, right. Got our green garnish. And I'm kind of half tempted to add some goat cheese to all of that. I think that'll be really tasty. So let's add some goat cheese crumbles. Or actually, I can't remember. I'm gonna say feta. I don't have feta, but I do have some queso fresco. So I think that regular chèvre is gonna be too melty for something like this. And quite frankly, a little too overpowering. Well, queso fresca has that nice kind of... queso fresco, I think that's the right term for it, has that nice kind of farmer's cheese sort of marrying taste to it, but not overpowering. So now we've got that. I'll just have to add that to the recipe. And our Balsamic Reduction, which is kind of paste-like right now. Oh wow. But still drizzly! Okay, we can drizzle this crap. I did overdo it. Look at that. Okay. Okay, so noted, 15 minutes was just enough. 20 minutes was overdoing it. Noted. But it is giving this really cool drizzle, isn't it? Okay. I think that's enough. God, that does look cool, though. Okay. Lesson learned. Granted, I could probably just heat it back up to make it runny again. Just garnish it with that leftover thyme. And that looks freaking fantastic. Yay! That makes me very happy. And that is going to photograph beautifully, I think. So, right, we are done. We are actually done with 40 minutes to spare. So, you know what time it is, folks. It's time for me to take some darn photos. So, with that, I want to thank you for joining me today for the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis. My name is Catherine Barsonistas. This is the day before Thanksgiving, and we just made a stuffed eggplant inspired by the... God, what was it called again? It's off the top of my head. It's in my ears. The Aeylinth Vinyards from the Pathfinder campaign setting, specifically from the Taverns of the Inner Sea sourcebook. I cannot wait to shove this in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie, I tasted some of the filling already. I can only imagine with all of this put together is gonna taste like, so I'm super excited about that. I will be streaming again this week, Friday, day after Thanksgiving, also known as Black Friday. Please don't go retail shopping, please. We have a pandemic. It's gonna spike. It's only gonna get worse. Protect yourselves, please. So, protect yourselves. Watch and come and watch me make some leftover turkey tamales inspired from the Mazteca, um, well, region of Dungeons and Dragons Forgotten Realms campaign setting. So, yes, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, no matter what safe way you celebrate it. Emphasis on the word safe. I don't want any of y'all to get COVID. No foolishness. None of that. Um, my name is Catherine Barsonistas, and as always, stay safe, stay sane, stay you. Have a great night. Bye.